The scorching sun beat down on the dusty streets of Tondo, Manila, as 12-year-old Joaquin, Jojo, Reyes adjusted the straps of his worn-out slippers and tightened his grip on the rickety guitar slung over his back. His shirt was faded, his jeans too short, and his eyes carried the kind of tired that only a child growing up too fast could understand. Every morning, he helped his mother sell vegetables at the wet market, and every afternoon, he wandered through narrow alleys, serenading strangers in jeepneys and at street corners for coins. His voice, clear, haunting, and far too soulful for his age, was their only hope. Jojo's father had died in a construction accident 2 years ago, and since then, survival had been a daily struggle. His mother, once vibrant, now coughed through the nights and often skipped meals just so Jojo could eat. But even in the darkest of moments, she would whisper, "Anak, your voice is a gift. Don't waste it. One day, it will open doors no one else can see." Jojo held on to those words like a sacred song. One fateful afternoon, while singing outside a bakery, a foreign woman in sunglasses and a wide straw hat stopped in her tracks. Her name was Melody Carter, an American talent scout visiting Manila with her husband. Her eyes welled up as she listened to the boy's aching rendition of "Tears in Heaven." She didn't speak Tagalog, but music, she always said, needed no translation. After a heartfelt conversation with Jojo's mother, Melody made a call that would change everything. 2 months later, Jojo stood backstage at Asia's Voice Rising, a globally streamed talent competition held in Singapore. He wore a simple white polo and hand-me-down pants, but his fingers trembled as he clutched his guitar. Never before had he seen such bright lights or heard such silence in anticipation. Contestants before him had dazzled with choreography, high notes, and flamboyant outfits. Jojo had only his voice, his battered guitar, and a dream too big for words. Backstage crew whispered among themselves, some skeptical, some dismissive. "He's too young. Too raw. Too quiet." But when the host called his name, Jojo stepped onto the stage with a humble nod. The judges, 2 international pop stars, a Filipino music legend, and a no-nonsense British producer, looked up with curious expressions. "What will you sing for us?" the female judge asked kindly. Jojo cleared his throat, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'll sing Hotel California, by the Eagles." A collective gasp rose from the audience. It was a bold choice, legendary, complex, iconic. The British judge raised an eyebrow. "That's a big song for such a small boy." Jojo nodded. "It's my father's favorite. He used to sing it to me when we had lights at home." A hush fell over the auditorium. Jojo positioned his guitar, took a deep breath, and began to play. The first few chords were shaky, but as his voice rang out, rich, velvety, yet soaked in emotion, everything else melted away. It wasn't a perfect imitation, nor a grand performance, but it was something far more powerful. His rendition stripped the song of glamour and nostalgia and laid it bare, aching, raw, and deeply human. His voice carried the story of a boy who had seen too much, lost too much, but still dared to dream. Halfway through the song, something unexpected happened. One of the pop star judges, known for her fierce critiques, began to cry. She covered her mouth, overcome with emotion. The Filipino music legend bowed his head, his lips trembling. The British producer, stone-faced until now, wiped his eyes behind his glasses. The song reached its final haunting note, and silence reigned. Then, chaos. The Filipino judge stood up, tears streaming down his face. You brought us all home, Jojo. You sang with your soul." The pop star slammed her hand on the golden buzzer with such force that the entire panel jumped. Confetti exploded from the ceiling. The crowd erupted in cheers. The host rushed in. Jojo looked around, dazed, confused, until Melody appeared backstage, beaming, shouting, "Jojo, you did it. You did it." Jojo dropped his guitar and fell to his knees, overwhelmed. "This is for Mama," he whispered. This is for Papa. Backstage interviews revealed more of Jojo's story, his street performances, his mother's illness, the struggle to eat, and the heartbreak of being overlooked for years. Clips of his audition went viral. Millions around the world watched and wept. Celebrities shared his video. Donations poured in for his family. An anonymous donor even paid for his mother's hospital treatment. One morning, Jojo received a letter. It was from Don Henley himself, the Eagles frontman. Jojo, it read, your version of Hotel California reminded me why we wrote it in the first place. You gave it new life. Keep singing. Keep believing. Jojo went on to win the entire competition. But more than trophies or money, what touched him most was when his mother, finally well enough to travel, surprised him on stage during the finale. Dressed in a borrowed dress, tears streaming down her face, she embraced him before the world. You did it, Anik, she whispered. You gave your voice to the world, and they listened. Jojo's life transformed almost overnight. He received a full scholarship to a music conservatory. He performed on international stages. He became an inspiration to millions of street kids across the Philippines and beyond, reminding them that even in poverty, there is power in dreams. In one interview, when asked what kept him going, Jojo replied, kindness. A stranger who listened. A mother who believed. And a father's favorite song. Years later, Jojo returned to the same street corner in Tondo with his old guitar. He sang once more. This time, not for coins, but to remind the next little boy with a dream that even the smallest voice can echo across the world. And in that echo, humanity listens. The end.